That's just poor.
All right. So as Dennis is slowly pouring it out there for you all,
There's a lot of head. There's a lot of head on that one. I gotta wait.
Terrible.
Yeah, back around and starting off the third part of this guy to finish answering or finish hearing the answers to some questions.
Indeed. So the question was, which current production knife do you wish you had a larger or smaller version of? And I'll start off with given PNW because in his answers here, he actually gave us 2 answers, and I find both very interesting.
We'll call him Joseph from now on. That's fine.
There you go. Shade.
Fuck you.
So right off the hop, Given's first answer was a smaller shaman. Which my initial response was to say a native.
Yeah, because the shaman was just a big native.
Hang on.
Yep.
I understand where he's coming from.
Me too.
Not compression, because a normal native isn't a compression. You can only get a little native with compression. But not even that. The contouring.
I was going to say, I want the contouring too. Yeah.
A native hasn't come out. The carbon fiber native has been the closest thing with nice contouring for a native, but everything else is PM2 slab, whether it's G10, whether it's FRN, it's just slabs. And it doesn't have the fit and finish that the shaman does. So I understand where he's coming from on that front, for sure.
It was the smart ass in me that wanted to say native right off the hop. Because the shaman is in that series, whatever, right? But I think, what's a shaman's blade length? 3.5? 4?
It's pushing 4.
It's 4, but that's including the choil.
3-inch shaman? 2 3/4 inch shaman? Something like that?
Okay, but if you're going to do that, you can't make the blade any more narrow, and you can't make it any less thick. All you're doing is shrinking down the handle and the blade.
Just squishing this way.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that too. Make it a chubby little guy.
The opposite of what they did with the native chief from the native. Like, just do the opposite of that. Just squish it just a little bit.
Hey, some people need a diet, okay?
I feel like you're calling me out by name right now.
No, it's the native chief. It just wasn't as chubby as the shaman. The shaman sat around gaining weight and stuff. The chief was doing work. It was good slim.
What I was going to say is it's what you were looking for in the bug out, in the shrinking of the bug out. You wanted it to keep the same height of the blade and just shorten it, right?
For me personally, yes.
Yeah.
I also
Nigel
agree.
liked the opposite, so he liked it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for the mini bug out, it almost put it into like a CRKT Pizzoda, where it just felt like it was just like, I can buy this for $40 from Buck, or like not even the Buck even has that knife. But just the way it was made just didn't jazz me until I saw the aftermarket scales for it, right? So
you shouldn't have to count on on aftermarket modifications to have a good knife, though. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that last week, quite honestly. That as much as I like having aftermarket scale options, I don't want to have to buy a knife and then upgrade it. I want it to come.
You want to better be in love with that knife, for sure.
Yep.
His other answer is actually the reason why I'm carrying this today. He wants a mini Anthem. Which I would assume in the mini bug out range, because this is right in there with the bug out.
Instantly, I was thinking like a Cebu size.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah. I could see that being popular. I don't know if I would buy one. I'd probably just go for the larger size, but
that's what I was going to say. Is I think that it would be popular, but I think I'm going to pick the 3.5 inch blade any day of the week.
I see it being like a Sebenza, where yes, people do like the small Sebenza. A lot of people buy the small Sebenza, but if you ask me which Sebenza I want in my own personal collection, I'm not saying the small unless it's my third Sebenza.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's not even the first two. The first two get to be big boys. Like it's So
That is fair.
I
Yeah,
kind of
no,
like the Num Zan too. I might Sabenza and then Num Zan and then go the opposite way and go small after that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think like the mini in like a hand like Nigel's too would start to get in that weird kind of, is it 2.5? Is it 3.5 inch or 3.5 finger length? Is it sitting weird? Is like that corner is kind of sharp. Is that sticking me in the hand where I'm trying to hold the knife?
And the other thing you got to keep in mind is you don't want the mini Anthem to get penis envy from the full-sized Anthem.
So you give it the
You gotta have a
full-size
full-size
clip.
clip.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you gotta give it at least an equal, and then that looks weird. So
Well,
do you give it the like bug out style penis clip, or do you like?
Don't talk to me about your bug out penises, please.
He's a grower, not a shower.
The water's cold, okay?
Is it like lion steels where it just like comes out like more? It's
Right.
like grower that way. Yeah.
All folding
Okay,
knives
they
are
go
growers. What are you talking about?
This is a weird
Tangent.
rabbit hole that we've gone down.
Hey, I'm just saying, it's not as weird as me suggesting putting a bug out clip sideways on your normal Anthem like I was before we started recording.
That is true. That was definitely a
I think
weird
Nigel
thing.
missed out on that, but I was saying if he puts a bug out because it's 2 holes, but your Anthem is like sideways, so you now have to rock it outside on the like belt or on the waistband, like those guys like to like carry their knife there, and it just makes a mean cross draw, right? Like, and that way you can get rid of that ugly penis clip.
I would rather keep the penis clip any day of the week.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we're gonna jump over. We're actually gonna jump back over to YouTube's comments here. Will to Survive says he didn't get a chance to actually answer the question on Instagram, but he finds that the Contigo is a little bit big in his hand, and even though a smaller Contigo wouldn't necessarily be in that kind of black class tactical realm, having a smaller version of it would be a pretty cool option.
I don't know. See, on that one for me, and Dennis may agree here, but I like having that full-size handle, and it's stupid comfortable. I feel like if you're going to shorten, for me, you can't really shorten the handle and make it any more comfortable, so if you shorten the blade, then it just becomes stubby and strange. So I don't know. I don't know about that one.
So when you're coming to shortening it, like my other question is that the Contigo is just a variation of a 940, which is also a variation of a Rift, a 950 Rift. But the finger choils are different in a Contigo. So do you want the ergonomics?
Good call.
Yeah, you've got a Rift. I've got a Contigo. So do you want the ergos of the Contigo in a smaller platform, or do you
Rift size knife?
Hey, Dennis, what's the difference between your fixed blade Contigo and your folder? Like, do you have the fixed blade here you could hold up?
It's in 3 other rooms away.
Okay. I was just going to say.
No.
Yeah.
So slightly larger, but everything else is the same. The finger choils are the same, blah, 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 but the blade and the handle ratio is slightly larger than the folder.
Okay. So then would you just... Would you be happy then with the folder as a fixed blade? Like, that's the profile, but now it's a fixed blade.
I would have no issue with that. I would probably prefer it more because I find my Contigo just on the too big side for EDC, but just like I said with the S30 and the blade grind, not reliable enough for bushcraft. And because I'm not tactical, like that's not what I'm using it for in an application. So I find the fixed bladed Contigo is a weird category. And I think if you put it into the folder size, it would make it easier for me to carry.
Fair enough.
Will to Survive here is saying that he wants the ergos of a Contigo. The Rift doesn't agree with his hands.
Okay.
That's fair, yeah.
But I think that if you shrunk down a Contigo, if you just took like they did with the bug out when they made the Mini, where it's shrunk in every dimension, that finger choil that's supposed to hold 2 fingers isn't going to be able to hold 2 fingers in it anymore. And you're
Yep.
going to have a weird finger and a half and a grip on it.
But for a lot of people, and I think Nigel agrees, the reason he doesn't like the Contigo is he can't fit 2 fingers into it. So his second finger ends up being on the weird bump,
Yeah.
like there type of thing, right? Because you can't get 2 fingers in. Whereas for me, it's locked down and it's a beautiful thing, right? So
what I'm saying is that I think if you shrank it down, you would have more people that ended up in
Yeah, it would turn it so it's like in my hand for everyone else, sort of thing.
And it would still be, the certain people that it fit perfectly for. But I think you would lose even more of the marketplace.
maybe BMW is one of those people. Like, why you got to judge, man?
Or
It's Will to Survive.
Will to Survive.
Okay. Yeah, Will to Survive. That's who I meant. We'll edit that. I'll sound way better after we don't do it live, let me tell you.
And he's saying the Contigo handle is just a little long for his hands, which the Contigo is long in my hand too. But as far as like a tactical knife, having a little bit extra sticking out the back to like hook and be able to like catch an arm or something like that is not a bad thing either. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
In all your hooking tactical needs, right? Like,
I'm saying in the ethos of it's a black class Benchmade and it's going to be used in the military, being able to control an arm or something like that might be a vital thing.
So it must be really hard to get into being proficient at tactically hooking. Because, I mean, like, if you're out there on the street corner and you're all tactical and you're, like, blended in and no one can see you anyways, how are you going to get picked up?
I was going to say, just for the record, tactical hooking might be the your next sex tape.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah, and I mentioned it before we went on break, but Will to Survive was talking about my fact and the modification that had been done to it. And I just wanted to show it really quick so that people knew what he was talking about.
and honestly, I don't dislike it. I think even just the silver tops looks kind of cool, for sure.
But there are definitely spots on it where you can tell that he ground through the texture more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would like the blackwash look. Well, like I said, gravel, tumbled, milk jug, blah, blah, blah. I think that would look pretty badass. Yeah. I think Paul should do that to his anyway. So
we accidentally just created a new hashtag.
Oh, no.
Hashtag tactical hooking.
Yeah. So is the pimp in this situation? I'm just wondering here as far as
he's got a
is he the
lowrider
one with
Hummer.
the game? Is he the one with the game plan? Like, is there like an earpiece?
Well, yeah, he's the strategic pimp. You are the tactical hooker. Come on.
Like,
he rolls up in like a lowrider Hummer.
That's two feet up off the ground.
Get all this part out.
He's like the guy in the SWAT van that's in like hiding right now, but they're so confused because he's got the same get up for his hookers. You see,
he can't tell them apart.
He's tactical. Yeah.
Will to Survive is saying that he didn't realize that the ridges were almost gone, and the ridges are definitely still there. They're still hard to see because they're small in the first place. But there are definitely spots, especially back towards the back end of the knife. Like as he ran it up the sander, he kind of like rocked it a little bit.
Ground in a little deep.
So if you want to do a flat job of it, here's what you do. You tape some sandpaper down to a flat surface. You take your handle scales off. You tape them to a block of wood, and then you move that block of wood across the surface gently. You don't just take the whole damn thing to a sander.
Yep.
Joe's mansplaining for our audience again.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Please do it.
But again, I got that knife at a really good deal, and I was not complaining about the way that looked.
And honestly, he still did a decent job of it. Like for having done it on a grinder, it looks nice.
There is something to be said about a knife that's been used and loved, and it's got age to it, and it's got a story that can be told by it being carried around. And this may not have a story, but it's got the look of a knife that does.
And that's
Way
what counts
to
for the
fake,
Instagram.
fake some sentimentality there.
Hey,
Nigel.
it looks great in photos. Okay?
When Nigel edits this up later, that's where the cut needs to be for the episode. It's just right after that.
There you go.
That's excellent.
Excuse me. We did get one last answer to the comment about which knife would you want a larger or smaller version of.
And for the record, we haven't answered yet either. So
Oh yeah,
We'll
I'm
answer
well
later.
aware. Normally we do these and then we answer ourselves.
do it.
He's
It's actually from Mr. Fisk, and surprisingly, it's not a joke answer this time. I don't think. It's the Kaiser T1, which Joe might have to pull up a photo of that one
I can pull
for
that
the
up.
audience.
Yeah.
It is as easy as the easiest way for me to describe it is it's a Kaiser that kind of has a Voxnez kind of feel. It's got a similar amount of belly that he likes to put on a lot of his knives, although the blade is longer than what he tends to have a shorter, chubbier kind of look.
Waiting. That's too bright of a picture, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well this one is
It's a titanium frame lock at the end of the day, but it's got some nice milling in it and stuff like that. It's a really nice looking Kaiser. It's really right up my alley as far as the way that they look.
Right.
It's a silver blade with a silver handle. It's a hard thing to show up on camera.
it sure
through
is.
a phone.
Hashtag Joe sucks. But
There you go. You can actually see the change in angle there.
Yeah.
It's a nice looking knife.
Yeah.
and does he want it smaller or bigger?
He wants a bigger version of that.
A bigger version of it. Oh,
Jeez.
I see.
It's
I
almost
see what's
gone
going on.
now. Yeah.
He wants to cold steel it.
You might as well let Spot sell it while you're at it. Like it's just
Hey, why not? Hashtag pocket sword. That's not a new one. That's been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Probably mostly
So-
used by Cold Steel.
bigger or smaller. What do we got here? What do we want?
I'm all for a bigger knife. I mean, I wouldn't make it much bigger than what it is. If it's a 3.5-inch blade, maybe a 4, maybe a 4.25. But that's like 452 kind of realm. That's a lot of knife.
Well, I was thinking for your own personal, what do you want, smaller or
Mhm.
bigger?
In that one,
Well,
No,
for-
and
the-
your
the-
own, what do you want, smaller or bigger?
What's your answer to the question?
I cut up. You should ask me later because I didn't know if I answer this question. I'm going to think about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Somebody else can answer that.
I have several answers, but the one off the top of my head is actually the Crooked River, and then they did it, and they came out with a mini Crooked River, and it made me a very, very happy boy that they did it. And that's most recently the one that I could think of that I was like, man, I wish it's just too big. I wish they came out with a smaller version.
Yeah.
And then they did. And then they came out with a gold class that taunts me because it's too much money. But the Lunar with the Dama and the Goodness
It's a pretty blade.
fiber, yeah, it's a second.
It is a really pretty blade. What about you guys?
I don't know.
yeah, I hate to.
I'm sure there's been knives that I'm like, man, I wish it was a touch bigger, or I wish it was a touch smaller, or whatever. Like the Cebu. Nigel talks about it. If you had a Cebu in a full size Griptilian, fucking
Yeah.
do it up.
That'd be a
paper,
nice.
I can see, yes.
That would be a nice
Yeah.
pick.
And it
Well,
ruins
I
the
would-
elegance for Nigel, and I don't care.
I was gonna say you can see the pain on his face.
Yeah, it's like
I don't
I
care.
don't know if I would like that in a big one. It would just feel too chunky, I think.
I don't
It's
care
weird.
what it says.
If you made it bigger, you couldn't make it much bigger without it
Yeah.
starting to lose some of its elegance. That Japanese design.
Hmm
You can do slim, like an Adamas, but like half the thickness. Like,
Hey
You
Joe,
know-
can you black out? Can you
And-
black out Dennis now?
An Adamas,
You
but
have to just do this now.
this thin. That'd
and
be,
by that I mean CRKT produced it, but
right. I think for me, I'd want this bigger. but not bigger overall. I just want it to be longer. Give this to be in a 4.5 or a 4-inch blade instead of the about 3.5 it's at now.
He wants a single-edged fact.
Well, but not even thinking about the 452, right? I basically want this just longer. I want the handles longer. I want the blade longer because it sits comfortably at a 3-finger. But I don't know. I'd like to get a full 4-finger grip, but keep the blade nice and slender.
Not as big as a 452.
Not as wide and not as tall of a blade necessarily, because they are.
So you want a jumbones
essentially
450.
Yeah, okay. Essentially, yeah. And I think that's different enough from the 452 that I'd be happy with it. But I mean, I also do like the 452, so
I've got a stupid sneaky answer because, like, surprisingly, I can't think of anything because the most common thing that I say whenever I pick up a new knife is it needs to be a little bit bigger.
So anything.
So, like, that's such a common thing, but just because of my hands, but there's not really any specific model that I want to see, any other size that I can think of. But the sneaky answer I figured out, those Spyderco thrower knives.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh.
They need to be an inch longer, so they are the right sizing for the International Knife Throwers Hall of Fame regulation size.
Right. I know that you guys have...
So you've got some steel to lose, so they don't come out of regulation size.
Because I know that you guys have bitched about that before. It's like, oh, they were so close, and they just didn't do it for whatever reason.
They're really nice in every other aspect except for their length.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of have two answers. I'm kind of going Joe on this one. This was my first thought was the Tur, make it a little bit bigger.
Yep.
And I would say in all dimensions, I wouldn't mind having a little bit of a chubbier blade on this guy too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of go Lion Steel SR1 kind of chubbiness in the blade. I'd be happy with. But the other thing that I was thinking about was something that Joe just picked up and had on camera, which is the broken skull. If we compare the broken skull to something like a buck 110, make a buck 112 sized broken skull.
I thought I had my buck 110.
You want the mini Crooked River. You want the mini broken skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
This isn't all that far off from a buck 110, hey? Like it's pretty. It's
right in there.
Pretty close.
That's what I say. So if you made a buck 112 size or mini Crooked River size, it might be the absolute perfect knife as far as that blade shape.
And I'm going to also throw in a Joe/Nigel sneaky answer and throw in a second as well. And I know...
for the record, I only picked one knife. I only picked the one knife this time around.
And I'm actually playing off your 450 because you said you actually wanted it a little bit longer. But my counter argument to that is every ZT production knife ever made needs to be slightly smaller.
Bullshit. Nope. Nope.
So much.
There's a whole bunch of those models.
You telling me this needs to be any smaller than it already is? Really? This needs to be smaller?
For in the pocket? Yeah.
No way. Are you talking about the overall thickness? Or are you just saying like how
you made a mini 909? You made like there's so many models that you could just 0095 with the harpoon. You made a mini harpoon. That would be a sexy knife, man. Like it's.
See, I don't know.
Can we make a larger 0022? That little 2-fingered flipper. Make it a 3-finger or even a 4-fingered flipper.
Yeah.
The 456. Make a mini, and they've got like this little techno looking.
That would be fucking sweet, actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, there's some knives that they could mini out of the ZT catalog that would be pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it out. Of all the different things we've thrown out, the only thing that has gotten a comment in the on YouTube comments is from Given saying a mini broken skull would be the tits. We could call it the fractured skull.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually don't hate that. Too bad they discontinued the Broken Skull, so the chances of that happening are.
Maybe they did it so they could release a smaller version. You know, like Cold Steel does.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is for Cold Steel, the knife was too small. They're gonna come out with a Broken Skull XL,
which is so stupid because it's a huge, well, not a huge, but it's a pretty long knife. Like, what else do I have here? A lot of ZTs, but like it's not an inconsequentially sized knife. That's a GB2.
It's a full 4-inch blade,
which I like. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Joe likes 4 inches.
If it's Cold Steel's 4 inches, yeah.
I'm not touching that. I'm not going. There's a Lynn Thompson joke in there that I'm not going to make.
Keep your hands off of my Cold Steel 4 inches.
Oh, sweet. We got John and Rachel are in chat right now. What's going on, guys?
Hey, guys.
And silence.
Was that it for answers to the questions, or?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is it's the end of the answers.
Do we have any comments talking about anybody chiming in with their own answers?
We've got a comment from Rachel saying, or John actually probably saying, "Loves the beard, brother." To Nigel with his braids.
Yeah, lately when I've been going out in public and wanting to wear a mask, it's a lot easier to deal with braided up, and then being out in the bush today, it was a tick prevention method as well, not having all the hair.
That's a good idea.
Damn ticks.
Yeah.
Those damn ticks. Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that recently because if you can't tell, the Italian and the Scottish in me, there's a fair amount of hair on my legs. And I was thinking about being out in the bush in tick country, even in like shorts or something like that, and just the free ride that they would get on me.
Isn't that tactical hashtag tactical hooking? Yeah. Free ride.
John's just asking what questions, and it was just questions we had on Instagram that we asked to everybody, and then we get answers back.
Easy enough. The first one was the ZT707 because they haven't actually revealed the picture, so we theorized what it was going to look like. And there's a bunch of theories on that one for sure. And then what knife do you want, smaller or bigger, was the second question. So, yeah, kind of ran through those and people answered them and we answered them. I'm still on the smaller or bigger. I think there's other options that I'm just forgetting about, honestly.
Can we get an XL fact? 6-inch blade? Let's Cold Steel that bugger.
Yeah.
I'd probably buy it.
I got Joe on the hook.
It's not hard to get me interested in those types of blade shapes, though.
Nope. I have a super weird one because it's in my own collection. I don't have it here, but a mini Spyderco Subvert.
That's a good answer.
The Subvert was a big knife, and if you made a slightly mini version of it, I think it would appeal to the masses quite a bit. Even though it is
kind of size?
The full size blade length is what? Like it's just over 4, or is it right at 4?
It's somewhere at the 4 marker.
So
it's crooked river.
So like a 3 or a 3.5 inch blade length, I think would be really nice on that.
Yeah, like a mini Crooked River compared to the Crooked River.
That would be okay. I could see that. I would still prefer the large, I think, but I wouldn't mind the small.
I think you got to keep the bronze, phosphor, and titanium though, no matter what you do.
Yes,
because that knife is just so smooth.
So what you're saying is the only thing you didn't mention was the orange G10 scales.
Yeah, no, yeah, you got to switch from orange to forest green, just to throw everybody for a loop.
As long as they don't go,
if you do the forest green with the cool new fancy pattern, because then
and then S45 on
same
that,
forest green. Yeah.
An S45 subvert
at 14 degrees, select something. I don't know.
There you go.
Actually, with a blade stock that thick, that'd be cool. Just this big, thick bevel on that thing.
Is that what it was called? Select edge?
Yeah.
Select edge.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Silliness.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Benchmade can have Spyderco's hole. It's only fair that Spyderco can have their Steve Brunella meat eater angles. It's
Don't say it like that.
Fair trade.
I know we're not marked as I know we're not marked as appropriate for children, but you can't say things like that.
Given PMW
French
actually
made
jumped in
using
with
their
another
hole.
answer.
Using their hole.
Don't like it. Given's got a lot of good answers, actually. A smaller version of the Yum Num Zun from Chris Reeves would be a cool option, too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It would sell well.
Oh, yeah. Like you said.
That would be my second knife before a mini Sabenza. So.
I still think if it came down to it, it'd still be the Inkosi for me. For whatever reason, those double finger choils just fit my hand perfectly. Kind of like what Will to Survive was saying before with the Contigo. It feels like it would be something easier to EDC, maybe fit his hand better. But definitely not for everybody.
No, they are not for everybody. Cozy doesn't do it for me.
Inkosi with an Insigno blade. That's all I need in my life. I only need one Chris Reeve.
It's okay to be wrong. I'm just saying.
I'm used to it at this point. Outside of that, we've kind of come to the end of our questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
been going for over 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it out there right now because I've got it coming in and it's freaking fantastic news. I've got a X Series Pena Rhino made by Riot coming in this week. So I'm going to be showing that off next week like nobody's business. I'm super jacked up about that knife coming in for sure. So
nice.
John jumped in with a bigger CJRB feldspar, and I don't know that knife off the top of my head.
Shabazz,
I've seen the CJRB. I don't know if I know that one in particular, but
Shabazz did a review within the last couple weeks.
Okay,
I think I do know what knife you're talking about then. If Shabazz was the one that did it, yeah.
I have no idea. And also, Given agrees with me that the Inkosi with an Insigno is the way to go. So there's two of us. There's dozens of us. Dozens.
So there's that feldspar. Yeah.
A larger version of that? Yeah, I can see that in kind of potentially this kind of size range.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's a 3.5-inch blade to begin with, so it's almost exactly the same sort of profile that this guy has.
That's not the wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool, man.
That'd be pretty cool.
So PMW just jumped in and said that he likes the small and cozy instead, which, like you said before, it's okay to be wrong. He does like the smaller knives, though, so that makes sense.
Is it terrible that when it comes to the Inkosi and the double finger choil, I like the small one more than I like the big one?
Yes.
Because then you're grabbing it like a dragonfly at that point with the the 2 fingers and then so
doesn't mean I like it.
I can appreciate that more. When it comes to the full sized one, my personal hand doesn't fit those choils, so it doesn't do it for me. But the small one reminds me of a light use.
Fair enough. I've only ever handled the large and cozy, so.
That's okay.
If it fits your hand, though, it probably fits fine. Let's be honest.
We'll probably get a whole bunch of variations of 31s that you can play with, and then they'll be sold out very, very quickly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We should be getting some awesome variations of 31s soon. I don't know. Canadian retailers with Chris Reeve 31s it's still sketchy. They've started to leak into the American retailers, but the Canadian retailers, it's a slow process. So
one day we'll get them. Given PNW is also saying that the small and cozy is better than the small Sabenza. So apparently you're wrong, Dennis.
I agree with him.
That's the
Oh wait, yeah. No. Damn it! Apparently I'm wrong.
What the hell, man?
I don't know what to say. But I think that's kind of the end of the conversation as far as bigger, smaller things that we're excited for, new toys that have come out.
I think so.
I'll do just a quick kind of flash to the camera for John because he's gotten here a little bit late. I'm not going to get nearly the same light that I had before, which actually seems to be not a terrible thing.
Yep.
It's not a good thing.
Maybe actually try tilting it towards your kitchen and try and catch your kitchen light.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's starting
Paul.
to get.
Paul, say
Yeah.
I am saying words again with my mouth. Look at me go, hey, look, you can see my nose in the Spidey hole.
fantastic.
So yeah, paramilitary in S45.
I'm just going to pull out my propper here so I don't have to actually like see you anymore.
That's fair. The Spider Coast Siren in LC200N. And this one actually I put away like way more. God damn it. The K390 Ladybug with a steel that way outshines the size of this knife. But I wonder how long you could go without resharpening this thing.
If you wanted a knife to put on your keychain that you could just forget about forever and still be sharp when you needed it to be, that would definitely be a good option.
I think the only way that you would lose your edge on this thing is because it is a high carbon and it's or a tool steel and it's going to patina and potentially rust or something like that. If you got rust on that edge, you would lose your apex. But outside of that, a little bit of oil on it, it's not going anywhere.
With K390, we'll just cut through the rust. It's fine.
That's fair.
Don't worry about it.
How do you think rust works?
Don't ask questions, Joe. Just accept it.
My steel knowledge at the beginning of these like streams and my steel knowledge at the end of these streams.
Would you say that it's like comparative to amount of beer drank?
Yes.
As one goes up, the other goes down?
I would say there's a direct correlation. Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough.
Right. Unless somebody has some more talking points, I think this might be a good spot to cut it off.
John's asking how much a large and cozy is, and that's kind of a hard answer to give because there's so many different variants with onlays and
if you're looking at a straight up plain one, you're still looking at probably, I'm going to say right now, 6.25 Canadian.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
They're not cozy, plain, large, blah 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 type of and especially the 31s that we got coming in because there was a price bump on the 21s to the 31s, so everything went up a little bit, and they weren't cheap in Canada to begin with. It's a ridiculous price point to pay for a fantastic knife, but
that's it. On that note, I think it's time to go to bed.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so gonna give the big giant thank out to Cutting Edge for letting us play with all those wonderful new little toys. It is muchly appreciated.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most of you guys are here from Instagram. But if you're not already following us on Instagram, head over there. That's where you're going to get any kind of information when it comes to giveaways or stuff like that. If we're doing a giveaway on Patreon, you're going to hear about it through Instagram probably. Like it's going to be mentioned. If you're wondering about information about when something's going to be going up on YouTube or something like that, that's where you're going to find that information. So.
Yep.
And I'm actually going to do a shameless plug as well. For me and Nigel going out for the last today, I took out it was from Tactical Innovations. It was a 48-hour bag that they actually gave me to test out and to give a review on and whatever. Absolutely fantastic bag. It's got so many options for pockets that if you're OCD and organized like I am, oh my goodness, it's absolutely awesome, especially for just like an overnight or a 2-day pack or whatever type of thing. literally my only complaint about the bag is that it didn't have a hook for me to put my bladder system and hook it on. Like that's as minor as I could like bitch about the bag, and that's pretty small. So yeah, I'll give a shameless plug to them as we're streaming live. Go check out their 48-hour bag. It's just like it's a good overall bag for sure. So
cool, man.
So yeah, that being all that, this is Nigel the Smith signing off.
I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
Exile.ca.
We appreciate everyone coming by and hanging out, and we will catch you again next time.